but then you often remember the reasons and find your peace again. Story 36. I don't know if it's a mental health tip, but there was a comment on TikTok where someone said, "I can't do that. It would take forever." Another person replied, "The time will pass anyway. I think about that all the time." Story 37. Socializing makes me happy. I talk to people randomly or greet those walking by, and it feels nice. I enjoy taking nature walks. Eating healthier or fasting has helped me feel better. Story 38. Keeping a diary and writing helps a lot with anxiety. Have you ever been awake until 3 a.m. because your mind is stuck in a loop and you can't stop overthinking everything? Stop, open a book, and write everything down. You will sleep well after that. Story 39. When you are being mean to yourself, remember the little you. Remember the person you were before the world became scary. The little you did not deserve that and does not deserve it when you speak negatively about them. Story 40. I made the conscious choice to stop being negative and unhappy. I have no reason to be either. I also decided not to panic every time something bad happens. I was in a wreck almost 2 years ago. I could have panicked and been hysterical at the scene. Aside from being a bit disoriented, I was calm. I just asked to get what I needed before the car was towed and called my husband for a way home. I'm finding that panicking does no good. Story 41. If the mental health tips are not effective for you, especially if you are unable to implement them, it may indicate that your mental health challenges are more severe than initially thought. It is important to address this. Advocate for healthcare providers to take action and deliver the care you need and deserve. Executive dysfunction and mental and physical exhaustion are significant symptoms of mental illnesses. Story 42. With regards to medications, less is more. Do not self-medicate, even if you think you are feeling better. Psychiatric medications are serious. Withdrawals can be difficult. Work closely with your doctor if you feel your medications are not effective, or if you need to make changes. In November 2024, I experienced lithium poisoning that required a 5-day hospital stay. Needless to say, I no longer take it. Take it slow, one day at a time. Story 43. Exercise. My depression is pure melancholy about the state of the world, and being outside in nature soothes that for me. There is always yoga if I can't go outside. I freely admit that antidepressants saved me from perimenopause challenges. Story 44. For autistic individuals, unmasking is important. I was even wearing a mental mask to avoid thinking in ways that might reveal my autism. This experience leaves you feeling soulless. Story 45. Make the promise to prioritize your mental health above all else. Pay attention to how it feels to be in your body in different situations with different people. Do you find yourself holding your breath and feeling tense? Or are you open, joyful, calm, and safe? Focus on making choices that enhance your well-being rather than drain it. Is your boyfriend, roommate, or job affecting your happiness? Do what it takes to create a healthy and supportive environment for yourself. Story 46. The only way to end the crisis is through it. Do not become numb. Do not drink alcohol. Do not try to buy your way out. Face it. Let it all out. Feel it all. Write, cry, and scream into a pillow. Consider therapy. Do not be afraid of the psychiatrist. Ask for help. Let people know you are struggling. A lot is lost in isolation. Sunbathe. It is vital. Find faith, not necessarily in religion. Take care of others when you are able, whether they are animals, the elderly, or orphans. They will help you more than you realize. Walk, especially outside. It gets better until it feels bad again. Flat lines are only for the deceased. May we all be well. Story 47. This is unusual, but hear me out. I had terrible anxiety before starting Sertraline. I experienced constant rumination of thoughts, reliving trauma, excessive worrying, and health anxiety. It was at its peak when I would try to sleep. I would lie down, get comfortable, and think of a complicated process. My favorite was building a birdhouse. I would consider how to start, what kind of wood to use, whether to glue it or use nails, how big to make it, and what color to choose. This helped me most of the time. Story 48. Treat yourself like you are someone you love. I used to talk to myself in a negative way. One day I thought, if my friend was struggling like this, would I say the same things? Absolutely not. So now I ask, what would I say to someone I care about? And say that to myself instead. It has made a significant difference. Story 49. You will undoubtedly go through many therapists, but once you find a good one, it will make all the difference in the world. Story 50. Live life the way you want. Good or bad, whatever happens, people always have something to say. Story 51. I have a critical inner voice. When I put myself down or think negatively, my therapist advises me to check the facts. I tend to intellectualize, so when I check the facts, it diminishes my negative thoughts, at least for me. One way I combat insecurity is by checking the facts, and it works wonders. Sometimes my inner voice does not align with how others actually feel about me or how I truly am. Story 52. My therapist advised me to treat my intrusive thoughts like a 12-year-old kicking the back of my driver's seat. They can be as annoying as they want, but I am still the one in control, and they do not get to decide how I act. This perspective has significantly reduced my distress, as I now recognize that these thoughts do not define me. I can act according to my own morals and goals rather than being driven by anxiety. Story 53. Somebody said the same neural pathway you use for anxiety is controlled by gratitude. I am more appreciative and less anxious. Story 54. I tell my monitor that I no longer want to think about something anymore. Either give me a task or a joyful thought. Don't bring that intrusive thought up ever again. It has worked well for over 6 months for 2 memories from my past. We'll see after a year, as I used to spiral about those things at least 3 to 4 times a year. Story 55. Positive inner monologue and self-talk are important. It is a real fake it until you make it approach. I was a very negative person for the longest time, but I eventually got fed up with my mindset and decided to do something about it. Whenever I caught myself thinking negatively about myself, another person, or a situation, I would stop and try to focus on something positive instead. For example, if I found myself being judgmental about someone, I would think of 3 nice things about them. I did the same when I had negative thoughts about myself. It requires conscious effort at first, but eventually, it becomes the default mindset more often than not. A quote that really helped me was from a poet named Neil Hilborn. It goes something like this. Whatever you are feeling right now, there is a mathematical certainty that someone else feels the same way at this moment. That is not to say you aren't special. It is to say thank goodness you aren't special. Story 56. I have been practicing a technique I read about called change the radio station. When I have anxious, racing thoughts, I visualize switching to a new radio station. This helps me change my thoughts and focus on something else. The more I practice it, the better it works. Additionally, walking outdoors is beneficial. Story 57. Walking daily has been a routine for months now. Not only does it help me stay in shape, but it also alleviates my depression. I'm much happier now. Story 58. Get out into nature.